Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we talked with some of the hundreds of people waiting to get help with their delayed unemployment benefits. And as COVID-19 cases are back on the rise throughout the state, we talked with one business owner who saw that as a sign to stay closed. Plus, people from all around the region drove by the Mountains Art Center yesterday to lend their faces to a new project.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:34 on this Friday, June the 19th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News this morning. Yesterday, it was just overcast. We held out on the rain for as long as we could, but it might return today. Let's bring Brandon in this morning to get a better breakdown of just what to expect. Brandon, good morning and happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my friend. This forecast brought to you by the letters TGINF. And even though it's been a kind of a rough one this week with the overcast skies, as you mentioned, and some spotty rain chances, they're still around today. So one more day, hopefully, before we clear out just a little bit heading into summertime. Dense fog this morning as you head out the door as well. So be careful of that. Anything less than 5 miles on this map is pretty rough shape. And you got Moorhead and Logan at 0 visibility this morning. We take a look at our temperatures. 60s area wide there, 60 to 65. The range from Harlan to Monticello. The out-the-door forecast, we're going to continue to keep those rain chances in play in scattered form, and temperatures will top out in the upper 70s. Full forecast on the way here in just a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, we now know the identity of a man police found assaulted early Tuesday morning in Hazard. He is in critical condition in the ICU, and police say his attacker is now behind bars, charged with attempted murder. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke with the lieutenant in charge of the investigation and walks us through what happened.
Blood running down the chair, blood all over the ground, blood on a suitcase behind him.
That was the scene.
We just knew there was a lot of blood.
As Lieutenant John Holbrook arrived here at 248 East Main Street Tuesday morning.
You have a house up front and an apartment building in the back. He was sitting like in between those in a lawn chair.
The man assaulted is 46-year-old Robert Beaver of Knott County.
He has been staying here in Hazard for a while in an abandoned house.
Found incoherent yet still breathing.
Mel was actually trying to wrestle a little bit with EMS where he was incoherent and didn't really know what was going on.
Taken to the hospital, things quickly took a turn.
It's very evident that is a severe skull fracture. You know, his skull was actually bashed in the rear side of his skull.
CT scans determined a brain bleed with a skull fracture.
At that point, we actually went back to the scene because we knew we had something major going on.
Gathering evidence, an arrest was made.
We were able to identify a suspect as being Jesse Couch.
Couch is now in custody at the Kentucky River Regional Jail. In Hazard, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Couch faces attempted murder charges, tampering with physical evidence, along with a possible other pending charges. Anyone with information regarding the incident is asked to call Hazard Police at 606-436-2222. Well, once again, hundreds of people spent the day waiting in line for unemployment answers. Yesterday, the line was from outside the state capitol to the Health Cabinet building. Some traveled from all over the state, hoping for some results after filing for unemployment weeks or even months ago. Some arrived at 4 in the morning, waiting for the office to open at 9. Once inside, one person said it only took minutes to resolve his claim.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like if all the unemployment offices were open across the whole state, everybody wouldn't be here. I've heard people coming across the state driving 4 to 5 hours just to get here.
The Health Cabinet building will be the location for processing claims again from 9 until 6 today. Well, a local organization in Clay County is delaying its reopening date as COVID-19 cases in the area spike. WYMT's Dakota Makris has more.
Shirts, shoes, and a stove are all waiting to be picked up at God's Closet.
We're full, but as far as being able to give out, we're not been able to do that. And so it sort of hurt us because we know there are people that need stuff.
The organization wanted to open next Monday, but the increased number of COVID-19 cases in Clay County changed those plans.
We realized we had to reconsider, and so we probably won't be open through the month of July. maybe try to give it a shot in August.
Serving more than 75 people every Monday, giving away essential items.
Clothes, diapers, formula, things that mothers need, and also household items and things like that.
Making sure they do their part to help slow the spread of the virus.
One person's life being saved by social distancing, by us being closed, it'd be worth giving all these clothes away, you know. Just got to be safe and got to do the right thing.
Receiving more than 1,000 bags of items in 11 weeks.
The community has been so generous, and that's just Manchester, that's Clay County. They're generous people.
Hoping by the 1st of August, these doors will open to those they serve. In Clay County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, in emergency situations, God's Closet does allow one person in at a time to get items. If you have donations, you can call 606-599-6820 for assistance. Well, 3 local healthcare workers turned their artistic ability into a business. They sell several different types of art, but the focus is on chairs. They find old, used chairs and give them some new life, painting whatever topic a person wants on it. Kelsey Jacobs, one of the artists, says art is a great escape from working in the healthcare field, especially during this time.
Especially recently, work has been pretty stressful. So whenever you can come home and create something, me personally, it takes a lot of weight off my chest, and it gives me an outlet to focus that energy into.
So far, they have created and designed nearly 250 chairs. During the pandemic, they have also been doing special wreath giveaways specifically for healthcare workers. Well, people from all around the region drove by the Mountain Arts Center yesterday to lend their faces to a new project. Local photographer Malcolm Wilson invited people to show off their masks for a new photo documentary project he's working on. Show Us Your Mask is his way of putting a face to Appalachia's response to COVID-19.
We don't have a lot to dig from or remember from the last pandemic, which was really the 1918 Spanish flu. So hopefully that generations will see how we handled such a thing and how we dealt with it.
Wilson's photos will be added to the special collections archives at the University of Pikeville and UK.
Time now for our daily Helpers and Heroes segment, where we highlight folks working on the front lines from across the region. Let's take a look at our first picture today. That comes to us from Perry County. This is Tanya Singleton and Louise Thomas. They're both housekeepers at the Eastern Kentucky Veterans Center in Hazard. If you've been listening to all the health experts during this pandemic, you hear them talk about hygiene and cleanliness, something these ladies know a lot about and do on a daily basis in their jobs, making them absolutely essential. Thank you both for your work with our seniors and veterans during this time. Our next picture was also submitted by one of our neighbors in Perry County. This is Jessica Combs. She's a nurse at Primary Care Center in Hazard. Thank you, Jessica, for being out there on the front lines during this pandemic and always. And finally, our last picture today was sent in by Leslie. This is Carl Watkins. Carl is a bus driver and substitute teacher for Floyd County Schools. He has spent at least part of the pandemic delivering meals to school kids and his community. Thank you, Carl, for going above and beyond. And again, still some time. We're finishing out the month here with our Helpers and Heroes segment. You can get those into us on the website, which has been a little bit revamped in the last 24 hours. You can go over to the drop-down menu on the left side of the page, or just search on the page Helpers and Heroes, and you can submit those submissions that way. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And he mentioned that website. It looks pretty darn good. I'll say that too. Well, thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. We'll be back in just a jiff.